This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Welcome to the Gashouse Gang. What a special day it is for our KMOX family. We have another Hall of Famer. And
Again?
we just can't be happier.
Dude.
In fact, it's the first ever father-son duo to earn the Ford C. Frick Award. Jack Buck was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1987. And in 2026, the last weekend of July, we are excited to tell you, if you haven't heard already, the Baseball Hall of Fame announced it about an hour ago, that Joe Buck is going into the Baseball Hall of Fame as the Ford C. Frick Award winner.
Liriano hits it down the line and right, into the corner. Jordan is there. He has it, and the Cardinals wrap it up. The Cardinal dugout explodes onto the field. Everyone gathers on the mound, hugging Dennis Eckersley. It's a 7-1 Cardinal win, and the Cardinals have made it to the final field of 8. They have qualified for postseason by winning the NL Central Division. Get ready, St. Louis. Postseason baseball is coming back to St. Louis for the first time since 1987.
I remember where I was that moment in 1996, sitting on the front porch of our little place in Bloomington, Indiana, our senior year in college, where Joe went to school, by the way, listening to Joe Buck over the KMOX airwaves, because it's the only place that I could get the signal. I had to take my radio outside, and I listened to Joe call that final out, and the Cardinals were in the postseason. Isn't it cool to hear his voice that long ago on KMOX? Of course, he went on to stardom. Joe is currently the Monday Night Football voice on ESPN, but on Fox 22 times called the World Series after he had an earlier run, becoming in 1996 a 25-year-old World Series broadcaster. In 1996. He was 27.
He was 27. Vin Scully was the youngest at 25.
That's right.
Yep.
Called his first World Series at age 27, the youngest since Vin Scully in 1953. He'd be behind the mic again in 98 for the World Series, and then each year from 2000 through 2021. So that would give him 24 total World Series, 26 League Championship Series, 21 All-Star games. But it's not just that longevity. It is the fact that when Joe Buck was calling a baseball game, it was a big deal. He made it big. He had an amazing style of letting the crowd tell the story, and he followed in his father's footsteps, made his father proud, and broadcast, I think, in a style, Chris, that was his own. I think when Joe Buck did a baseball game, he had the authority and he had your attention.
Yeah, he did not sound like his father. Doesn't sound like his father. And if you remember, and maybe a lot of people don't, because it was so long ago, when he was calling his first Cardinals games, there was a little bit of, as much as we loved Jack Buck here, and an icon, and a legend. I don't have to gloss him anymore. You know what he was. But as well liked as Jack was here in this town, Joe still had to prove it. It wasn't like people were automatically welcoming of him being a Cardinals announcer. There were a lot of people at the time who were like, you don't get that job just because of your dad. That's not the way this is supposed to work. But Buck, Joe, the young one, proved, to me anyway, pretty quickly that he was just very good. And yes, he got a head start. Even with all the talent that he's got, he may not have been what he is now without his father being Jack Buck, because there are some really great broadcasters out there who will never get that big break. And that's just the way the world works. So it does give him a leg up. However, he is, in fact, actually that good as well. So I was sold on him fairly quickly. I had the same feeling a lot of people did, a little skepticism that maybe this is just a nepotism hire, but the dude's just really, really good. And I find myself defending Joe Buck against you know how it is when you're a national broadcaster. People automatically don't like you because they think you don't like their team. That's just it's the same old story. We hear it with everybody who has to call national games. And I have found myself defending him for years and years and years because the guy is just that good.
He is another KMOX Baseball Hall of Famer, joining a terrific list. And on top of that, there were 2 other KMOXers on the list of 10 finalists. Our own John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, and Skip Carey, also on that list. So just a tremendous list. And by the way, the committee that put Joe in, that is a who's who of broadcasters, including our own Bob Costas on that list. Al Michaels is on that committee. Can you imagine being in that room? Marty Brenneman, Joe Castiglione, Tom Hamilton, who just won, Pat Hughes, the voice of the Cubs, on and on it goes. Just a really neat, I mean, I would just love to be in that room and just listen to them all talk about these greats of our business. And I'm so happy for Joe, and I'm so happy for the Buck family. And you're right, Chris. You know, this means a ton to him, to his family, and I think from the get-go there were such high expectations and a lot that he had to overcome, I think, just to get himself going, and he did that, and he's had a tremendous career that continues as the voice of Monday Night Football. Thrilled for him. He is just wrapping up a visit with reporters, a national Zoom with baseball media that the National Baseball Hall of Fame has conducted. When that is completed, we will get that ready for you, and we will play that on the back half of the show as much as we can fit in before we go at 1 o'clock. But nice. We have a good show lined up for you. Matt Pauley is going to be with us in a few minutes. He is down in Orlando at the MLB winter meetings. We're also going to hear from Dennis Dodd, who covered college football for CBS Sports for a long time. And we have a lot to get through.
Dude, this college football playoff is extremely interesting, and it has been controversial, as I imagine there are going to be a lot in the years to come. But this one in particular. So there's a lot to talk about with Dodd.
Ken says he's on time today. What hot stove news have you arranged to break during today's show? Well, that's why we're going to get to Matt Pauley.
There is one already. Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso to the Orioles. So that opens up a spot.
5-year contract.
I think that could open up a spot for Wilson Contreras. That is echoed here by another viewer of ours, Brian Smith. Maybe the Mets would have some interest in bringing another right-handed slugger in Contreras to fill that spot. We mentioned the Yankees yesterday. Really good stuff on Joe Buck. I'm just so happy for him. Ford C. Frick Award winner. And, yes, I plan to be in Cooperstown for that one. I was there to cover Bob Costas when he was inducted, and I want to be there for Joe. I want to be there for Albert Yachty, too, for that matter, but that's later. We'll take a break. We'll come back and have much more for you on the Gashouse Gang. We're sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. I'm also excited for Chris Ranji because it's football season. It's getting down to some big-time games, and you get to tell us about FanDuel.
That's right. Missouri, I don't know if you know this, and if you don't, where have you been? But FanDuel Sportsbook is up and running in the state of Missouri. And they are right now kicking things off with an offer that's pretty tough to beat. They've got a $5 bonus bet. So this is what happens. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and you will get $300 in bonus bets, regardless if you win or lose. So whether it is football, like Tom's talking about, basketball, hockey, whatever it is you are betting, you can do it on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Download the FanDuel app today with the App Store or Google Play, and you can head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement. Baby, Missouri, it is here. Time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
We have some stunning breaking news.
There, when hope took the mic.
We did locate Ben this afternoon in the city of Kirkwood, and we've also located Sean Hornbeck.
Sean Hornbeck was sometimes seen outside the basement apartment where he and Ben Ownby were recently found. 14-year-old Montserrat Arias remembers hearing noises come from the basement apartment.
Someone was talking to him, and he would respond, but not yelling at him at all.
11-year-old Sean Hornbeck wouldn't come home for 1,558 days.
The crimes against Sean and Ben are among the worst that any parent could ever encounter.
Their captor, pizza parlor manager Michael Devlin, eventually pled guilty.
What really just made me hold on strong is knowing that my parents will always look for me.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Great news, Nick. Legacy boxes are still in stock. With Christmas just around the corner, there's still time to buy the best Christmas gift ever. Legacy Box.
That's right, Adam. Order today and Legacy Box ships immediately. It'll arrive ready to wrap and place under the tree.
Gather the family together this Christmas and collect all your old VHS and camcorder tapes, slides, pictures, and film reels. Then you can binge on the good old days.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your memories aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. Legacy Box helps you replay those great moments from the past, from Christmas morning to your wedding day.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
This Christmas is the time to digitize. Visit legacybox.com/value for exclusive holiday savings. That's legacybox.com/value for last-minute shopping. legacybox.com/value.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
The holidays come and go, but Cardinals baseball lasts all season long. This year, give the gift of all-inclusive tickets, featuring a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views at Busch Stadium. Enjoy great food, good times, and every moment of the action. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Coca-Cola Scoreboard Patio, and more. Make your holidays brighter with all-inclusive tickets, on sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hi, this is Randy Carricker. Congratulations to KMOX, 100 years strong as the voice of St. Louis.
I'm blown away. I got a call with the area code from Cooperstown, and my heart felt like it stopped. I am shocked in many ways. I didn't think this was coming.
Wow. I mean, how awesome is that? Gosh, that is awesome. I've known Joe since I was, 21, 22 years old, and I'm just so happy. All of us here at KMOX are so thrilled for Joe Buck, one of our own. He is a baseball Hall of Famer. He'll be inducted the weekend of July 24th through the 27th in Cooperstown. With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers are Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd, and we are joined now by Matt Pauley at the Winter Meetings in Orlando. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I am good, and let me second what you just said. It's such amazing news for St. Louis, for KMOX, for Joe. Really, everybody's so excited for him. And like you were talking about earlier, Tom, the KMOX representation on that list. I mean, that was 10 people who should be in the Hall of Fame, and certainly all of the KMOXers on there in that group. But a really special day. I
remember going to Cooperstown in 2018 for Bob Costas, and he said that it was the greatest honor of his life. And he's been in multiple halls of fame, but the Baseball Hall of Fame was the one that touched his heart the most, and it is incredibly special. So we're so happy, and we're going to hear that was from just a moment ago when he spoke to reporters about getting the call. We'll hear a lot more from Joe Buck, the back half here of the Gashouse Gang. Matt, what's the latest from Orlando? Cardinals fans are jonesing. They want some moves. What are you hearing down there?
Yeah, well, the Rule 5 draft is coming up in about 40 minutes or so. So I think the Cardinals are going to be active there, and I think that's probably going to be the most activity you get out of the Cardinals here at this winter meetings. Things are still going to happen at some point this offseason. I don't know how long it's going to take, but the trade market just is not moving. People want to blame the Cardinals, but there's just not movement right now. Trades are not occurring. We're seeing more free agent signings. Pete Alonso just signed with the Baltimore Orioles. I was recording an interview with Robert Murray for Sports Open Line tonight as it happened. I think I'm going to leave it in that way, even though we're playing it later on today, because it was fun to hear him react in the moment to that news breaking. He indicated that he thinks at least one more pretty major signing will happen either tonight or tomorrow. He wouldn't tell me what exactly it was, but he said just wait. Within the next 36 hours, there's going to be at least one more, but that's kind of where things are at right now.
And you heard Chaim Bloom speaking earlier in the week, and this is an approach that none of us are surprised by, that we do think he's going to be active, but also pretty prudent in what he does, deliberate, and maybe it will take a while. And I think it sort of underscores the entire process here of them rebuilding, or whatever you want to call it, that this is going to be a bit, that this is not going to be a quick fix for the Cardinals.
Yes, but they're not using the word patience, and they're not lowering expectations for next year. Chaim was very clear yesterday talking about the talent that they have that's going to be sticking around, that they feel like it is Major League talent. And they were talking about adding, especially from a pitching standpoint, and that they don't have to wait for some other things to happen. So I agree with you. This is a rebuild that's taking place. I'm not trying to build up expectations for next season, but to think that this is going to be a total tank job and the team's going to be a 70-win team, I also think that's an extreme level. That's not the case as well. They are trying to get this thing back to the Cardinals being a team that can compete for world championships, not just compete for playoff spots. And it wouldn't shock me if this upcoming season is kind of like this last year, where they're hanging around in playoff contention for a while. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to get this thing eventually at a place where you're competing at a much higher level.
You think it's possible, real quick, Matt, that we are talking about a team that does finish above 500 next year? Well, that's not a great mark. I mean, it's still a winning team.
Yeah, they could have been that this past year. If a couple things would have bounced in a different direction this past year, they could have been a slightly above 500 team. There was even a scenario where they could have done what the Reds did, where they took advantage of the New York Mets absolutely falling apart. I think the big thing is not making that the goal. In many ways, just sneaking into the playoffs felt like the goal for the team this year. And it even felt like the goal for the team 2 years ago. And that's not going to be the goal anymore.
I'll go opposite you guys here. That is not my expectation at all. And maybe I'm lowering the expectation just so I'm pleasantly surprised if they do compete and they do something nice. But I don't see them as an above 500 team or anywhere close to 500. I think they're going to tear this thing down, and in a nice way, because they want to build it back for the future. And that's okay with me. I mean, I go around the horn. I think Contreras goes. I think Donovan goes. I think Arenado goes. I think Wynn stays. I think in the outfield, Nootbaar is gone. And I think the others, maybe Scott, Walker, Burleson maybe stays. Gorman probably stays as jumping into an infield spot. Pages probably is a very attractive trade piece. I know I'm wheeling and dealing over here, and they've only dealt Sonny Gray. Let me ask you this. Wilson Contreras, is he a candidate for the New York Mets, you think, since Alonso goes to the Orioles?
You would think so. I mean, their internal candidate is Mark Vientos. They've got a couple guys in their minor league system that have been at the upper part, but they didn't perform at the upper part of the minor league system last year. Could they make a run at Christian Walker? who evidently is going to be available via trade. He's somebody that they were interested in reportedly before they brought back Alonso last season. Is there a break glass if necessary scenario of them going to Juan Soto and seeing if he would consider going and playing at first base? They haven't said anything about that, but if you squint, you can see a way that makes sense. But yeah, I could see the Mets making some calls on Wilson Contreras for sure.
So we know the Cardinals, again, going to make more moves here during the offseason. What do you think does end up happening? And I know this is a prediction that's difficult for you to make because we've only got, about a day and a half left of the winter meetings. And I know you're...
Now try like 90 minutes.
Well, yeah, what are you leaving tomorrow?
No, he's got the network show tomorrow.
Well, no, I mean, the Rule 5 draft at 2 o'clock is...
Yep.
That's the final event of the winter meetings.
But Matt sticks around, man, because he's a workhorse. He's going to have the laptop cooking. Yeah. He's got to put together a show for the network affiliates.
Wait, are you going to do that show from the lobby where you are right now? Tonight?
Yes, we are.
That's right. Wow. That's right.
Well,
man.
Tonight I'll do Sports Open Line, and then we'll have Countdown tomorrow night from here in Orlando.
My man gets after it. You should see this guy in Jupiter. He gets after it.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
Is he a bulldog?
He is a bulldog. He is in the KMOX mold of versatility. He absolutely, he can produce, he can host, he can report, he can call games. He does it all, Matt Pauley. But honestly, I think that, the winter meetings are a success if you get all, and we won't know the totality of it, but if you have conversations with every single executive in Major League Baseball and your name is Chaim Bloom and you've discussed everybody, I think he's said it best probably to us before these meetings even started, and I know he's gone into more detail, Matt, is that you want to know what everybody thinks about your people. And I guarantee you they've done their homework on everybody's prospects. That I assure you. So now what you're trying to figure out is, what do the Yankees think about so-and-so? What do the Orioles think about so-and-so? And et cetera.
Yeah, and this is where I get frustrated with people who want moves right now. You know what? If the Cardinals want to go trade Brendan Donovan right this very second, they can do it.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? They're not going to get the return that they want. So they're going to wait it out until they get the return that they want. If they want to trade Wilson Contreras right now, they can do it. If they want to trade anybody basically right now, they can do it. Like, it's not a case of offers not being out there. It's a case of wanting to get more. So when we get all these comments about people wanting, like, I understand it's the winter meetings and there was this expectation going in that moves were going to happen. But if waiting a month, even if waiting 6 weeks is going to give you a better return, then, like, with all due respect to everybody who's upset about a move not happening right now, you're dumb if you want a move right now as opposed to a move later that's going to give you better return later. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Get him.
It's like, Donovan. You want Donovan? Okay. How about your best prospect? No? All right. I'll call you back. Your best prospect, please. And then you go right down the line and you call them all. And if they all say no, then you go to the second best prospect. And on it goes, and you just figure it out, and you package people, and you move. I think it's kind of fun, honestly. I mean, and you're building a franchise. You've been tasked with rebuilding one of the giants in the sport, the St. Louis Cardinals, the record 11 World Series championships in the National League. That's pretty cool. Now you got to be transparent with your fan base and get them on board. Not easy, but his task is all of those. His task is to get this thing built back. The fans will come back once you get it done.
And it is Matt Pauley's job to tell these stupid idiots who don't know what's going on. You tell these people, Matt, that they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're looking at. And they need to get on board.
I just don't understand. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I'll give you $1 today or I'll give you $1,000 next week, guess what? I'm taking the $1,000 next week. The buck that I get to get a bag of Cheetos over in the vending machine for $1 is not, I don't need it that bad to not take my $1,000 next week.
That's right, buddy.
That's a really dumbed down, simplified version, but that's what we're talking about.
You better come through.
Dumb.
Matt, Matt, you better come through with that $1,000 then. You're promising me $1,000. You better come through. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed.
Can you tell I'm exhausted through my
I was just going to say, you're witnessing, folks, what is winter meetings fatigue right here. It's called WMF. And it is a something that he has contracted.
And Matt Paul, it's better than that winter vomiting disease.
Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah, that's norovirus.
Listen,
we don't want that.
You don't want that at all, Matt. But we're behind you, buddy. We're going to tell these fans how stupid they are.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks. Have a great show tonight. We appreciate you joining us.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Orlando, Florida. There's Matt Pauley at the winter meetings,
and he's sick of your crap.
And
I don't blame him.
What
do you want?
He's at it.
Not you, Tom.
No,
these people.
He's at sick of your crap. I'll tell you one thing. We tell him about this weather, which you're going to do in a moment. He'll go right back to Florida. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, he will.
Let me tell you about Genesis of St. Charles. The Genesis is going to feel when it's windy out there, like it is and cold, you're going to feel nice and toasty, warm, and happy driving your smooth ride, your Genesis around. Genesis of St. Charles, the best dealership there is. GenesisofStCharles.com. Walk in there and you compare. You tell me if you found a better dealership when you walk into the 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway and you see how high-end everything is, how luxurious everything is, what a great experience it is. Shay, the general manager, will show you around. Tell him that I sent you in, and he'll take great care of you at Genesis of St. Charles. Nice to have a dealership where I can tell people, just go in there and tell them I sent you in. You'll have a great time at Genesis of St. Charles, great vehicles. Before you go to genesisofstcharles.com, unlock the e-price. That way you'll get the best pricing available, and you can get more for your trade with a new Genesis at genesisofstcharles.com.
The holidays are here, filled with laughter, family, and memories. But if you're missing the punchline, the conversation, or even the music, it might be time to check your hearing. Hi, I'm Charlie Brennan.
I'm Dr. Bosler with the Audiology Center.
And I'm Dr. Voss. This season, we want you to hear every moment.
Hearing aids today can process sound faster than before. They're smarter at separating the speech from the background noise, meaning that when you're at the holiday parties this season, you'll hear the voices that you want to hear, clearer than before.
So don't wait until the new year. Give yourself the gift of better hearing today and reconnect with the people and the moments that matter most.
Call the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470, or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com. 3 convenient locations.
Call us today and make this holiday season better than last year's. Here for the holidays, here for life.
Weekdays at 5, it's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Hot stove blazing. College football bowl season heating up. College basketball teams making their final prep for conference play. NFL teams jockeying for playoff positions. And the latest in Cardinals baseball and Blues hockey. Fast updates, instant analysis, 0 wasted seconds. St. Louis sports, all of it. Delivered right at Rush Hour. Rush Hour Sports, weekdays at 5 on KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Cloudy and 37 degrees in St. Louis. The high today will be 45. The low overnight, 27.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can too. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Saturday night, it's men's Billikens basketball as they take on San Francisco. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Oh my goodness, music to my ears. Our Indiana, the Hoosiers, number 1 team in the nation. Undisputed. Unanimous.
Unanimous, is it?
They were unanimous number 1 in the AP poll. I know they are the number 1 team in the college football playoff. And joining us, covered many, many years for CBS Sports and made many appearances on KMOX, and he's back again on the Gashouse Gang. It's our great friend, Dennis Dodd. How are you, Dennis?
Dennis, are you with us?
Dennis, you hear us?
Yeah,
there he is.
I'm getting a Joe Buck taped interview in the background on your end.
We sent it. We must be feeding him a channel of Joe Buck. We got to get rid of that. Get rid of that. We'll make sure we get rid of that.
I think it's okay now.
Okay. Now. We have all kinds of feeds flying around all over the place, so we probably were just doing that just to throw you off. Dennis Dodd is with us on KMOX's Gashouse Gang. Buddy, it's great to hear from you, and it is a great time. I'll just be selfish here. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. I mean, my alma mater, Indiana, is the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
If they do it all, Dennis, if they win the whole thing, is it the greatest story we've seen in college football, do you think?
It's one of them. I mean, when you consider Indiana was the losingest program in college football, at least in FBS. And in 2 years, they've gone 23-2. I haven't checked it lately. I think that might be the best record in football. The only one that would be better, I think, is Ohio State, but they beat them Saturday. It would rank right up there where they did it with basically an unknown guy, Curt Cignetti from James Madison, who took, I think, 9 players in the portal from his program, again, an FCS program, and they were the foundation of these 2 championship teams the last 2 years going to the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, in this world where everything is so transactional, it's good to have some something pulling at your heartstrings at football stories like this.
And as Tom mentioned, they are the number 1 team in the country, just beat Ohio State, the previous number 1. Now, are they, even though they are number 1, it doesn't always necessarily mean they are the best team in the country, but do you think they are?
I think the question should be what team or what group of teams can win this now that we're in a progressive playoff. I could say they're the best team in the country, but I think you got to look at matchups. I think you got to look at the talent level. I definitely think they're in that 3 to 14 space that can win it all. Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia. Texas Tech, frankly, is right there with its own story, similar to Indiana. I definitely think those 4 can win it. Anything outside of that would be a surprise. And how about that? Outside of Indiana would be a surprise.
All right. Well, what about Oregon? Do you think that Oregon could upend Texas Tech in that 4-5 game?
Sure. Why not? Look, I think Oregon sells itself on physicality and speed. They like to be the most physical. They like to be the fastest. I think that's why the Indiana result earlier in the season was so surprising, because they walked in there and smacked Oregon in the mouth, and Oregon that day didn't have an answer. The thing with Texas Tech is, again, that people don't realize, including myself until the season went on, is they're top 5 offensively and defensively. They've spent, for better or worse, $28 million on a roster, and they've tarred. I talked to Cody Campbell, their big billionaire booster, before the season, and he told me they had eight positions they needed to fill, and they got their number 1 choice. In other words, on their transfer portal draft board, they got their number one choice at every position. They've got the best defensive player in the country in Jacob Rodriguez. They're averaging in the 40s offensively. Rodriguez is an amazing story. He's a linebacker, I think, or edge rusher who wanted to walk on so bad he slept in his car before enrolling. So look for that. But yeah, absolutely.
Got this really great.
If they get past James Madison.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Hey.
We got just this wonderful story in Indiana being the top team in the country, and in a normal year, that's the thing we'd all be focused on. But somehow, Notre Dame has managed to hijack much of the discussion in college football over the last few days since being snubbed and then turning down a bowl game after that. And then you've got the athletic director going off on the conference his team is in, his school is in. What do you make of that entire Notre Dame situation, which has grabbed all the headlines?
Yeah, I think Notre Dame really showed their you-know-what in this. You can fill in the blank. I thought it was more surprising that they didn't play in the bowl game than they didn't make it, because that was a decision. That was a question mark coming in. It was between Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami. And, depending on who you talk to, there really was no right answer. I mean, I can make a case for all three of them. But I think when they said that, and when they said the relationship with the ACC was permanently damaged, when the ACC, they're the ones who prefer to be kind of pregnant, playing an ACC schedule and having access to their bowls and being a full member in 24 other sports. And then the ACC throwing them a lifeline in 2020 by allowing them to play a conference schedule and win the league during COVID. I thought that was tremendously disingenuous, and then really not articulating the right things that they should have in getting left out. Their problem is with the selection committee, and to a larger extent, the commissioners who put this playoff system together in the first place. The selection committee did not correct a quote-unquote mistake from early November in the first set of rankings when they ranked Notre Dame 10th and Miami 18th at a time when both were 6-2, had similar resumes, and Miami had the head-to-head. Well, they got closer, as we know, as time went on, and to the point that it was a discussion point. But then to say that, and I'm getting in the weeds here, where Alabama lost a championship game by 3 touchdowns and didn't move, which allowed Notre Dame to be left out and Miami to get in. But a BYU, which lost its championship game to Texas Tech for the second time this season, dropped. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any congruent sense. Plus the fact that I'm more upset about Notre Dame, about Alabama than Notre Dame. They absolutely do not deserve to be in this field. They're the first 3-loss team ever to be in. They're running games in the hundreds. Their running backs are injured, and that seemed to make a difference 2 years ago when Florida State didn't have its quarterback.
Yep.
And about the last month, they haven't played well. They finished 2-2, so that's a discussion as well.
Well, as an Indiana fan, I'll tell you what, we'll be licking our chops if Alabama's in that Rose Bowl. I'll promise you that. There was a lot of bashing of Indiana last year, and a lot of it came from Tuscaloosa. Dennis Dodd is with us. He is the longtime national college football writer, now former writer for CBS Sports. But, man, I'll tell you what, when I was covering Mizzou and I would show up on Saturdays wherever they were, if Dennis Dodd was in the press box, I knew it was a big game. Dennis, let me ask you a final thing about the Heisman vote. So, obviously, with my cream and crimson glasses on, I'm seeing Fernando Mendoza as a slam dunk. But I am hearing a lot of Diego Pavia out there. Julian Sayin, St. Louis, and Jeremiah Love is in the mix as well. Where do you see this shaking out?
Yeah, I think it's a two-man race. I think it's Mendoza and Pavia for different reasons. Obviously, both their teams were very, very good, but Fernando Mendoza, obviously a transfer who came in and, made that, was a difference maker at quarterback, and had one of the finest statistical seasons in the country this year. The Pavia thing is cultural, it's athletic, it goes across different discussion points from athletics, his mom, the whole thing. I mean, I got on his story that people don't know. He's the Vanderbilt quarterback, transferred from New Mexico Military Institute to New Mexico State to Vanderbilt, and had them win 10 games for, I think, the first time in their history this season. They're 10-2. But when I got on to him and he was making his run at Mexico State, I casually asked him, do you have any NIL deals? He goes, yeah, I have one with an IV company. In other words, this trendy thing where young people can get IVs.
Yeah.
He had a deal with them in Las Cruces, and that's all he had. So what he's done and what Vanderbilt has done is really historic. I mean, we're talking about a Vanderbilt program, but like Indiana was one of the worst in the country, but came through this year, set total offense records, set scoring records. And Diego Pavia is kind of like, I compare him to Johnny Manziel in 2012, it was at Texas A&M, where he put the entire franchise on his back. The issue with Pavia is he's maybe 5'10". I think the people I talk to say he's 5'9" 3/4. Barely see over the line, Doug Flutie-esque, and pulling off plays. He's put Vanderbilt, the city of Nashville, and part of the SEC on his back to get them to this point. So I would look for a close vote. I think Mendoza's the favorite, but I think there's a lot of love out there for Pavia.
Dennis Dodd, it's great to hear your voice again on KMOX. Love talking football with you. Enjoy the games, and I know as a big hockey fan, baseball fan, and everything else, we'll be catching up with you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom.
All right, Dennis Dodd, longtime CBS Sports football writer with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, the Gashouse Gang. When we come back, the opening statement from Joe Buck, his first public comments on receiving the Ford C. Frick Award from the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Back in a moment. We're sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
At Hardee's, every Tuesday is now Tender Bender Tuesday. Right now, download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards. Buy 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders, get 3 free. It's Tender Bender BOGO every Tuesday now through June 2026. This Tuesday, get 3 tenders, free. Next Tuesday, get them free. The Tuesday after that, you guessed it, free. Buy 3 tenders, get 3 free. Another great benefit for My Rewards members. Only at Hardee's. Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow. Invoices were late. And payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lendseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at LENDSEEK.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-999-3339. That's 800-999-3339. Again, that's 800-999-3339.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman on the Gashouse Gang. Let's hear from Joe Buck. It was just an hour and 49 minutes ago that we received news that Joe, one of our favorites, a KMOX alum, in fact, has received the call for the Ford C. Frick Award for the Baseball Hall of Fame. He received that call just before we got the news, and just moments ago, he spoke to reporters with his opening remarks.
I mean, the opening remarks are pretty easy. I'm blown away. I'm sitting here. I was actually sitting here doing work for the Dolphins and Steelers game next Monday on ESPN. Make sure everybody tunes that in. And I got a call with the area code from Cooperstown, and my heart felt like it stopped. I am shocked in many ways. I didn't think this was coming right now. Before I go any further, I want to specifically thank the committee and all the other past winners that are with us, and those who are not, one of which is my dad. But the ones that are here, and for anybody who voted or even heard some sort of drum banging on my behalf, I thank you very much. In particular, Bob Costas, who I know was instrumental in making sure that the annoying national guy still got a look for this award. I was saying to the group that called me to tell me that my best memory of my father as a Major League Baseball broadcaster was in 1987 in Cooperstown, New York, and what it meant to him, what it meant to our family, to see him get the award, to see the joy and the pride that he had for what he had done. I don't think he ever really, at that point, took a breath and kind of looked back. He was always looking forward and headed to the airport in St. Louis, going to something else. But I think he was a Depression era kid and somebody who had nothing as a young man. World War II vet, Purple Heart recipient, did so much for the country and worked his way up. I come in obviously in a very different situation. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I was lucky to call Jack Buck my dad and my best friend. I'm lucky that I'm Carol Buck's son. And it's hard for me. It's why I have a therapist to accept this kind of stuff, because I tend to downplay awards and what have you, because of always feeling like, I had a leg up at the start of my career, and I did. I'm the first to admit it. But I am happy that when I was a kid, I paid attention and I wanted to be with him. He and I were best friends. And I think the greatest gift my dad gave me was allowing me to be in the room with him. And that room was different from time to time. It might have been in his office when his voice got real deep and I knew he was talking on the phone, that he was doing a radio interview, most likely with KMOX in St. Louis. But it could have been with anybody, or that room was in the booth with the Cardinals, or that room was in the booth with Hank Stram on Monday Night Football, or whatever it was. I was around it, and he wanted me there. And I think that more than anything started me on this journey that I don't want to say ends for me in Cooperstown. I'd like to think there's still some stuff out in front of me, but uh, this is the greatest honor I could receive. And to know what he would be thinking and feeling on this day, that's the part that makes it special. And to have my mom here, who I was seated next to when my dad went in 1987, and I was a senior in high school, and I had a blue and white seersucker sport coat on, baking in the Cooperstown sun. Never more proud of my father, and listening to his speech, which the main piece of it, I recall him saying that he was honored to be the eyes and the ears for Cardinal fans wherever the Cardinals went. And he was very proud of being the conduit between wherever the Cardinals were playing and those fans that were listening. That always resonated with me. And then to see him have a couple years with Tim McCarver at CBS doing the World Series in 90 and 91. And then not long after that, there I was sitting with Tim McCarver. I owe so much of this to my dad. I owe as much to Tim. And that's the last time I was there, is when Tim McCarver got into the Hall of Fame. I was as proud of him as I was of my dad, because I knew what it meant to Tim, who had spent his entire life thinking, breathing, living baseball and teaching it as much as playing it and announcing it. So I have a long list of people to thank. And then we'll take questions if there are any, if anybody's still awake. I will take questions, but I mean, to thank David Hill, who took a chance on a 27-year-old and paired me with Tim. My dad knew I was in great hands with Tim as my partner. We were of a different generation, he and I, but he knew that whatever was going to happen on the field in a World Series or a big game, Tim had either been a part of as a player or had seen it as a broadcaster. And it was a great security blanket for me. And then Tim giving me, I think, kind of the sign off as somebody who was worthy of an opinion on a stage like that, gave me credibility instantly. And so, I was a young guy, 27, trying to act older than I was, sitting in the Bronx, getting ready for World Series Game 1, and the rain's pouring down, and I'm scrambling before my first World Series game, scared out of my mind. And then it gets rained out, and I had all my work done, and I was able to go back to the ballpark, back to the great Yankee Stadium, my favorite place to call games. And I was ready already, and I could just kind of relax and get set for my first game. And I'm proud that I did all that at that age. And I'm proud that the stage wasn't too big. And I'm proud that I got through all that. I look back, and I've got a 29 and 26-year-old in the family, 2 daughters, and I've got 7-year-old twin boys. And I think being able to share this with them is the most meaningful part of it for me, because I spent a lot of time away and a lot of time with them, with mom, while I was doing a All-Star game or a World Series or whatever it was. I missed a lot of stuff, as we all do in this business. And I'm glad that we get this great, joyous time coming at the end of July. So I'll answer specific questions. I'm blown away. I did not expect this at all. It does feel like it dropped out of the sky. I kind of resigned myself to the fact that it was going to be years if it ever did come to pass. And to get it here in 2025 for 2026 is just stunning, shocking, and wonderful, all at the same time.
Joe Buck, just a little while ago, on his reaction to the Ford C. Frick Award, the National Baseball Hall of Fame, he joins his father, Jack Buck, the only father-son duo to win the Frick Award, Harry Carey, Joe Garagiola, Bob Costas. There are others with Cardinals and KMOX connections. Milo Hamilton was with us for a couple of years, St. Louis Browns, St. Louis Cardinals. Of course, Tim McCarver, who was mentioned there, part of the television broadcast team with the Cardinals, and it was a St. Louis Cardinal and a world champion. And Bob Uecker, put him in there too as a member of the Cardinals for a little while, is also in the Hall of Fame. But those 5, Buck, Carey, Garagiola, Costas, and now Buck, that is some big-time KMOX horsepower right there.
Joe Buck earned it.
So happy. For Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks for joining us on the Gashouse Gang.